My boyfriend poked holes in every condom to baby trap me until I got a tubectomy 6 months earlier and didn't tell him. My name is Amber and I'm 31 years old. I discovered what my boyfriend Tyler was doing on a random Tuesday afternoon when I came home early from work with a migraine. I wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to be rummaging through our bathroom drawer with a sewing needle in his hand. I stood in the doorway and watched him for maybe 10 seconds before my brain caught up with what my eyes were seeing. He had the box of condoms open. The needle was going through the wrapper. Precise little holes. Methodical. Like he'd done this before. He didn't notice me at first. He was too focused. Too careful. When he finally looked up and saw me standing there, his face went completely white. "Amber," he said. "Just my name. Nothing else." The needle was still in his hand. I didn't say anything. I turned around and walked to the kitchen. My hands were shaking so badly I had to grip the counter to keep them steady. I heard him following me. I heard the bathroom drawer close. I heard his footsteps getting closer. "Let me explain," he said. I laughed. Actually laughed. It came out weird and strangled. "Explain what exactly?" "Explain how you've been trying to get me pregnant without my consent?" "It's not like that." "Then what is it like, Tyler?" "Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like that." He ran his hand through his hair. He did that when he was nervous. I'd always found it endearing before. Now it made me want to throw something at his head. "We've been together for 3 years," he said. "I love you. I want to start a family with you. You keep saying you're not ready, but Amber, you're 31. We're running out of time. So you decided to take away my choice?" "I was going to tell you eventually. Once you were pregnant, you'd see. You'd be happy about it." I stared at him. Really looked at him. This man I'd been living with for 2 years. This man I'd thought I might marry. His face was so familiar. The small scar above his eyebrow from a childhood accident. The way his left eye crinkled more than his right when he smiled. I knew every detail of his face and suddenly I didn't recognize him at all. "Get out," I said quietly. "Amber, come on. Let's talk about this." "Get out." He tried to reach for me. I stepped back. "Don't touch me then, please. Just listen." I said, "Get out, Tyler. I mean it. Get your things and leave." He stood there for another moment, like he was trying to decide if he could talk his way out of this, like he was calculating his next move. That made it worse somehow. The calculation, the strategy, like I was a problem to be solved instead of a person he'd just violated. He left. He took some clothes and his laptop and he left. I sat on the kitchen floor for an hour after he was gone. Just sat there on the cold tile with my back against the cabinet. I should have been crying. I should have been angry. I was angry, but mostly I felt this weird calm settling over me, because here's the thing Tyler didn't know. 6 months ago I got a tubectomy. My tubes were tied. I couldn't get pregnant even if I wanted to. Let me back up. Let me tell you how I got there. I never wanted kids. Not never, but not in any concrete way. When I was younger I thought maybe eventually, but as I got older that maybe turned into probably not, and then into definitely not. I like my life. I like my freedom. I like being able to travel and stay out late and sleep in on weekends. I like not being responsible for another human being's entire existence. I like being able to make plans without considering childcare. I like having quiet evenings at home. I like spending my money on things I want instead of things I need. I like the version of myself that exists without the weight of motherhood on her shoulders. Tyler knew this when we started dating. I was clear about it. "I don't think I want children," I told him on our 3rd date. We were at this Italian place in downtown. He'd ordered wine. I remember the way the candlelight caught his eyes. I remember thinking he was beautiful. I remember wanting him to understand this part of me right from the start. "Is that a problem?" "No," he'd said. "I mean, I've thought about having kids someday, but it's not a deal breaker. I'd rather be with you." That should have been a red flag right there. The someday part. The way he hedged. But I was falling in love with him, and I wanted to believe we could make it work. I wanted to believe that love was enough to bridge that gap. For the first 2 years, it was fine. He didn't bring up kids. We were happy. We moved in together after 18 months. It felt natural. Right. We talked about getting a dog. We planned trips to Portugal and Japan. We hosted dinner parties. We had inside jokes and Sunday morning routines and a life that felt full and good. Life was good. Then his brother and sister-in-law had a baby, Tyler's nephew, a little boy named Mason, and something shifted. It wasn't immediate. At first, Tyler was just a good uncle. He held Mason, he bought presents. He visited his brother and sister-in-law on weekends. I thought it was sweet. I thought it was normal. But then it started creeping into our conversations, into our life. Suddenly, every conversation came back to children. He'd see a baby in a restaurant and get this look on his face. Wistful. Longing. He started sending me articles about women who thought they didn't want kids and then changed their minds. Articles about biological clocks and fertility and the joy of motherhood. He'd say things like, "Don't you think it would be nice to have a mini version of us running around?" "No," I'd say. "I really don't. You say that now, but Tyler, I'm serious. I don't want children. That hasn't changed." He'd drop it for a few days, then it would start again. The hints, the suggestions, the subtle pressure. Comments about how good I'd be as a mom. How I was a natural with kids even though I'd never claimed to be. How we'd regret it if we didn't at least try. We started fighting about it. Real fights. Not just disagreements, but actual arguments that left us sleeping on opposite sides of the bed. He accused me of being selfish, of not considering his feelings, of stringing him along. "I never strung you along," I'd say. "I told you from the beginning I didn't want kids. People change their minds. I thought you'd change yours." "Well, I haven't, and I'm not going to." Those fights always ended the same way, with him sulking, with me feeling guilty for not being what he wanted me to be, with both of us pretending everything was fine until the next time it came up. 6 months ago, after another one of these conversations that went nowhere, I made an appointment with my doctor. I'd been thinking about it for a while, about making the decision permanent, about taking control control of my own body and my own future. The appointment was on a Wednesday morning. I took a half day from work. My doctor was a woman in her 50s named Dr. Patterson. She'd been my gynecologist for years. She knew me. She knew my history. She didn't try to talk me out of it. Are you sure? She asked. This is a permanent decision. I'm sure, I said. I've never been more sure of anything. What about your partner? Have you discussed this with him? I hesitated. He wants kids. I don't. We've talked about it a lot, but this is my decision. My body, Dr. Patterson nodded. She didn't judge. She didn't lecture. She just explained the procedure, the risks, the recovery time, the permanence of it. I signed the consent forms. I scheduled the surgery for 2 weeks later. I didn't tell Tyler. I told myself it was because I wanted to be sure first, because I wanted to make the decision without his input or his feelings weighing on me. But maybe part of me already knew. Maybe some subconscious part of my brain was picking up on something I couldn't see yet. Maybe I already knew that telling him would be dangerous, that he'd try to stop me, that he'd make it about him instead of about me. The procedure was quick, outpatient. I told Tyler I was having a minor gynecological thing done, and he didn't ask questions. Men never want details about gynecological things. It's like saying the word cervix creates an automatic barrier in the conversation. I took 2 days off work, told them I had a procedure. My boss didn't pry. I spent those 2 days on the couch watching terrible reality TV and eating takeout. Tyler brought me soup. He was sweet, attentive. He had no idea what I'd actually done. I was sore for about a week, and then it was done. My choice was made. My body was mine again, except it had always been mine. The surgery just made it impossible for anyone else to have a say in my reproductive future. It was like locking a door I didn't realize had been standing open. I still didn't tell him. I kept meaning to. I'd think, okay, I'll tell him this weekend. I'll sit him down and explain. But every time I was about to, something would stop me. Fear, maybe. Or the knowledge that once I told him, our relationship would probably be over. And I wasn't ready for it to be over. I loved him. Or I loved who I thought he was. The version of Tyler who made me coffee in the morning, who left me notes on the bathroom mirror, who knew exactly how I liked my eggs and which true crime podcast I was into, who held my hand during movies, who kissed my forehead when he thought I was sleeping. That Tyler I loved. The real Tyler, the one who was apparently willing to violate my body to get what he wanted, I didn't know him yet, so I kept my secret. And apparently he was keeping his own. After he left that Tuesday, I went through the apartment like I was looking for evidence of a crime. Maybe I was. I found 3 more boxes of condoms in different places. His gym bag, the drawer in his nightstand, the medicine cabinet in the guest bathroom we barely used. All of them had been tampered with, little holes, barely visible, but there I held each box under the light, examined each wrapper. Some of them had multiple holes, like he'd been thorough, like he wanted to make absolutely sure. I found a notebook in his desk drawer. He'd been tracking my cycle, writing down dates, calculating my ovulation window. There were notes in the margins. Try harder during this week, more spontaneous. Get her relaxed first. Wine with dinner. I felt sick reading it. Actually nauseous. This wasn't love. This was manipulation. This was control. This was him deciding that what he wanted was more important than my bodily autonomy, more important than my explicit wishes, more important than me. There were other notes too. Plans. He'd written about how he'd support me through the pregnancy, how he'd be there for every appointment, how excited he was to be a father. Like it was already decided, like I was already pregnant. Like my body was just a vessel for his dreams. I took pictures of everything. The condoms, the notebook, every page, every detail. I didn't know what I'd do with the pictures, but I wanted proof. I wanted evidence that I wasn't crazy, that this really happened, that I hadn't imagined or exaggerated it. Tyler texted me that night. Can we talk, please? I didn't respond. He texted again the next morning. I know I messed up. Let me explain. Let me make this right. And the morning after that, Amber, I love you. Please don't throw away what we have over this. By day 3, he was calling, leaving voicemails. His voice was desperate, pleading. Amber, I'm sorry. I know I messed up. I was wrong, but I love you. We can work through this. Please just talk to me. I listened to each voicemail once and then deleted it. I didn't call back. I didn't text back. I didn't give him anything to work with. I blocked his number on day 4. My best friend Rachel came over that weekend. I texted her Friday night. Can you come over tomorrow? I need to tell you something. She showed up at 9 in the morning with coffee and bagels. She took one look at my face and said, what happened? I told her everything. Every detail. The needle. The boxes. The notebook. The tracking. The calculations. She sat on my couch with her mouth literally hanging open. Her coffee got cold while I talked. She didn't touch her bagel. Holy shit, she said when I finished. Amber, that's assault. That's reproductive coercion. You could press charges. I know. Are you going to? I didn't answer right away. I'd been thinking about it. Going to the police? Making it official. But something held me back. Maybe it was because I knew how these things went. He said, she said, proof that would be hard to establish. A system that didn't always believe women. I had the pictures, but would that be enough? Would they take it seriously? Would they care that he'd poked holes in condoms? Would they see it as the violation it was? Or would they dismiss it as a domestic dispute? I don't know yet, I said finally. Rachel squeezed my hand. Whatever you decide, I'm here. You know that, right? I nodded. I did know. Rachel had been my friend since college. We'd met freshman year in a sociology class. She'd been the girl who always raised her hand. I'd been the girl in the back taking notes. We'd been paired for a project and somehow became inseparable. She'd been there through my worst breakup before Tyler. A guy named Connor who'd cheated on me with my coworker. She'd helped me move 3 times. She was the person I called at 2 in the morning when I couldn't sleep. She was family. There's something else, I said. Something I didn't tell you before. I told her about the tubectomy, about the secret I'd been keeping, about the appointment with Dr. Patterson and the procedure and the recovery, about how I'd hidden it from Tyler, about how I'd been carrying this secret for 6 months. When I finished, Rachel started laughing, actually laughing, tears rolling down her face. She laughed so hard she had to put her coffee down. "Oh my God," she said. "Oh my God, Amber. He's been poking holes in condoms for months and the whole time you've been shooting blanks. That's the most beautiful poetic justice I've ever heard." I started laughing too. It felt good to laugh. It felt like releasing something that had been building up inside me. We laughed until our stomachs hurt, until we were both crying, until the absurdity and the horror and the relief all mixed together into something that felt almost like joy. "Does he know?" Rachel asked when we finally caught our breath. "Have you told him?" "No. Are you going to?" I thought about it. About Tyler checking his phone every day, calculating dates, waiting to see if his plan worked, waiting for me to tell him I was pregnant, getting more and more confused when nothing happened, getting more and more frustrated, wondering what he was doing wrong. "Not yet," I said. "Let him wonder?" "You're evil," Rachel said. "I love it." We spent the rest of the day together, ordered pizza, watched movies, didn't talk about Tyler. It was exactly what I needed. Normal, easy, uncomplicated. 2 weeks went by. Tyler sent emails, long ones, pages and pages of text, apologizing, explaining, justifying. I read them all, but I didn't respond. In the first email, he apologized, said he knew what he did was wrong, said he got caught up in the idea of having a family, said he loved me and wanted to work through it. In the second email, he explained, talked about his childhood, his parents, how important family was, how he'd always pictured himself as a father, how seeing his brother with Mason had awakened something in him. In the third email, he justified, said he knew I'd be a great mother, said he knew I'd change my mind once I was pregnant, said he was just trying to give us the future we deserved. Each email made me angrier than the last. The way he centered himself in all of it, the way he talked about my body like it was a means to his end, the way he never once seemed to understand that he'd violated me. He sent flowers to my office, a huge bouquet of roses. My coworkers oohed and awed over them. "Who's the lucky guy?" they asked. I gave them to the receptionist. "Enjoy them," I said. "I don't want them." She looked confused but took them. I went back to my desk and tried to focus on work. Tried not to think about Tyler. Tried not to think about the fact that he was still trying to manipulate me even now. He showed up at my apartment one night. I was home. I'd just gotten back from the gym. I was sweaty and tired and not in the mood for company. I heard the knock and looked through the peephole. Tyler, standing in the hallway, holding a bag from my favorite Thai place. I watched him through the peephole for 20 minutes. He knocked softly every few minutes. Called my name. "Amber, I know you're in there. Your car is in the garage. Please just talk to me. I brought food. Your favorite. The pad thai you like." I didn't answer. I stood there in my own apartment, looking at him through a tiny hole in my door, feeling like a prisoner in my own home. Eventually he left. I heard him sigh. Heard him set the bag down in front of my door. Heard his footsteps walking away. I waited 10 minutes to make sure he was really gone. Then I opened the door. The bag was still there. I brought it inside, threw it away without opening it. I couldn't eat food he'd brought. It would feel like accepting something from him, like opening a door I'd worked hard to close. My sister Jennifer called me during this time. She's 4 years younger than me and already has 2 kids. A daughter, Emma, who's 5, a son, Luke, who's 3. She's always been the responsible one, the one who did everything in the right order. College, career, marriage, house, babies. The one who made mom proud. Meanwhile, I've always been the messy one, the one who can't commit, the one who changes jobs, the one who disappoints mom by not settling down, not having kids, not following the script. "I heard what happened," Jennifer said. "Tyler called me." "Of course he did." "What did he tell you?" "He said you guys had a fight, that you're not talking to him. He sounded really upset. He wanted to know if I could help." "If I could talk to you, help with what? Convincing me to take him back?" "He didn't say that exactly. He just said he messed up and he wants to fix it." "Amber, he sounded really upset. Whatever happened, maybe you should give him a chance to explain. Relationships are about communication, you know." I felt something hot and angry surge up in my chest. "He tried to baby trap me, Jen. He was poking holes in our condoms. He was trying to get me pregnant without my consent." Silence on the other end. Long, heavy silence. Then, "Are you sure? That doesn't sound like Tyler. He's always been so sweet, so considerate." I saw him doing it. I found his notebook where he was tracking my cycle, where he was planning when to try harder. I have pictures of everything. More silence. I could hear her breathing. Could hear her processing. "That's really messed up," Jennifer said finally. "I'm sorry. I didn't know it was that serious. That's really wrong." "Yeah, well, now you do." "But Amber, I mean, he loves you. He wants to marry you. Maybe he just got desperate because you kept saying no to kids. You're not getting any younger, you know. Your eggs don't last forever. Maybe he thought he was running out of time. Maybe he just wanted to—" I hung up on her. I actually ended the call mid-sentence. My own sister, making excuses for him, blaming me for his choices, suggesting that my biological clock somehow justified what he did. My phone rang again immediately. Jennifer calling back. I declined the call. She texted, "Amber, I'm sorry. Let me finish. I didn't mean it like that." I didn't respond. I was done. Done with people making excuses for Tyler. Done with people suggesting that wanting children somehow gave him the right to violate me. I didn't talk to Jennifer for 3 weeks after that. She sent apologetic texts, but I ignored them. I wasn't ready to forgive her yet. Maybe I wouldn't be ready for a long time. Maybe never. Work became my escape. I threw myself into my job. I'm a project manager at a tech startup called Nexus. We build software for small businesses, inventory management systems, point of sale systems, boring stuff that makes the world run, but nobody thinks about. We were in the middle of launching a new product, a mobile app that integrated with existing systems. It was a big deal deal for us. A major expansion, and it meant long hours and tight deadlines and constant problem solving. I stayed late every night. I volunteered for weekend work. I took on extra projects. My boss, a guy named Kevin who was maybe 45 and had been with the company since the beginning, probably thought I was gunning for a promotion. Really, I just didn't want to be alone with my thoughts. Work was safe. Work was predictable. Work was something I could control. One night, about a month after everything happened, I was working late at the office. Everyone else had gone home. It was just me and the humming of computers and the cleaning crew moving through the floors below. The office was on the 10th floor of a downtown building, big windows overlooking the city. Usually I loved the view. Tonight it just made me feel small. My phone rang. Unknown number? I almost didn't answer. Unknown numbers were usually spam. Robocalls about my car's extended warranty. But something made me pick up. Amber? A woman's voice. Not one I recognized. Yes? My name is Olivia. You don't know me, but I need to talk to you about Tyler. My stomach dropped. My hand tightened on the phone. Who is this? I'm Tyler's ex-girlfriend. We dated for 4 years before you. I heard about what happened through a mutual friend. I needed to call you. I needed to warn you. I sat up straighter in my chair. The office suddenly felt very cold. Warn me about what? He did the same thing to me, Olivia said. Her voice was shaking. I could hear traffic in the background, like she was calling from outside, from somewhere public. The condoms, the baby trapping, all of it. The office tilted. Or maybe I did. What? 3 years ago. We'd been together for 4 years, and I kept telling him I wasn't ready for kids yet. I was only 25. I wanted to finish grad school. I was getting my master's in social work. I had plans, and then I started feeling off, nauseous, tired. My period was late. I took a test, and it was positive. Oh my God. I didn't understand how it happened. We were careful. We always used protection. I was on the pill too. Double protection, because I really didn't want kids yet. But then I found the box of condoms in his drawer, and they all had holes. Tiny little holes, just like what you described. My hands were shaking. I put the phone on speaker and set it on my desk so I wouldn't drop it. What did you do? I confronted him. I showed him the condoms. He admitted it. He said he was sorry, but that everything happens for a reason. That we were meant to be parents. That I'd be happy once the baby came. He was so calm about it. Like it was no big deal. Like he hadn't just destroyed my trust. Like he hadn't just violated me in the worst way possible. She paused. I could hear her breathing, heavy, like she was trying not to cry. I wasn't happy, Amber. I was terrified. I was furious. I was 25 years old and in the middle of grad school and suddenly pregnant because my boyfriend decided he knew better than me what I wanted. I terminated the pregnancy and then I left him. I couldn't speak. My throat felt tight. My chest felt tight. Everything felt tight. I should have reported him, Olivia continued. I should have done something, but I was ashamed. I felt like it was somehow my fault. Like I should have noticed. Like I should have been more careful. So I just left and tried to forget about it. I changed schools. I moved to a different city. I started over. Where are you now? I managed to ask. I'm back here. I moved back 6 months ago for work. And then I heard through mutual friends about what he did to you, and I realized he's still doing it. He's still out there trying to trap women into having his babies. And I couldn't stay silent anymore. I had to call you. I had to tell you you're not alone. How did you get my number? I have a friend who works with your friend Rachel. She gave it to me. I hope that's okay. I needed you to know you're not alone. I needed you to know this is a pattern with him. We talked for another hour. Olivia told me everything. How Tyler had been perfect at first. Attentive, loving. How he remembered little things about her. Her coffee order, her favorite movies. How he'd leave her notes and bring her flowers and make her feel like the most important person in the world. How the pressure about kids had started slowly. Little comments, little hints. How it had ramped up after his brother had a baby. How he'd become obsessed with the idea of being a father. How he'd started talking about their future kids like they were already real. Like they were already planned. Like her input didn't matter. How he'd justified what he did by saying he loved her. By saying it was meant to be. By saying she'd thank him later. It was like hearing my own story told by someone else. Every detail. Every manipulation. Every violation. It was all the same. Have there been others? I asked. Between you and me? I don't know for sure, Olivia said, but I suspect yes. There was a girl named Brittany. She dated him for about 6 months after me. I heard through friends that she left him suddenly, that he'd been pressuring her about kids. I reached out to her after I heard about you. She confirmed that he'd been crossing boundaries, pushing, but she got out before it went as far as it did with us. Jesus. Yeah, I think there might be others too, but I don't know for sure. Tyler's good at keeping his relationships separate. He doesn't introduce girlfriends to his friends until he's serious. He keeps things compartmentalized. We exchanged numbers before we hung up, promised to stay in touch, promised to support each other. 2 women connected by the same man's betrayal. There's something else, Olivia said before we hung up. After I left him, I found out he'd been lying about other things too. Money things. He had debt he never told me about. Credit cards maxed out. He borrowed money from my parents and never paid it back. He said it was for a business investment, that he'd pay them back with interest. He never did. My stomach dropped again. How much? $5,000. My parents never pushed him for it. They just wrote it off. But after I found out about the condoms, I realized the money thing was part of the same pattern. The lying, the manipulation, the taking what he wanted without caring about the consequences. I don't know if he's done that to you, Olivia continued, but just be careful. Check your accounts. Check your credit. Make sure he hasn't taken anything else from you. After I hung up, I sat in the dark office for a long time. The cleaning crew had moved to a different floor. The building was silent, just me and the city lights and the weight of everything I'd just learned. Then I opened my laptop and checked our shared accounts. The savings account we'd opened together for our future, the one we were both supposed to contribute to equally, $500 a month each. We'd been doing it for for 18 months. There should have been close to $18,000 in it. There was $412. I checked the transaction history. Withdrawals, lots of them. All made by Tyler over the past 6 months. Small amounts that wouldn't trigger alerts. $50 here, $100 there, $200 occasionally, all adding up to thousands of dollars gone. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest, like all the air had left my lungs. It wasn't even about the money. It was about the lying, the sneaking, the way he'd looked me in the eye for months while stealing from me, while plotting to trap me, while betraying me in every possible way. I checked my personal accounts next, my checking, my savings, my credit cards. Everything seemed fine, but I pulled my credit report just to be sure. There it was, a credit card in my name that I hadn't opened, $8,000 charged to it. I called the credit card company immediately, explained the situation. They put me through to their fraud department. A woman named Patricia who sounded tired but sympathetic. "This is identity theft," she said. "You'll need to file a police report. We'll start an investigation. The charges will likely be reversed, but it takes time." How did this happen? How did he open a card in my name? If he had access to your personal information, your social security number, your date of birth, it's not hard, especially if you live together. He probably had access to your documents. I thought about all the times Tyler had offered to handle our paperwork, to file things away, to organize our important documents. I'd thought he was being helpful, thoughtful. Really, he'd been stealing my information. I called Rachel. It was almost midnight, but she answered on the second ring. "I need to see you," I said. "Now, what happened? Just come, please." She came to my office, showed up 20 minutes later in sweatpants and a hoodie, hair in a messy bun, no makeup. She'd clearly been asleep when I called, but she came anyway. We sat in the conference room with the lights of the city spread out below us, and I told her everything. About Olivia, about the money, about the credit card, about the realization that the man I'd loved didn't exist. He'd been a mask, a performance, and underneath was someone I didn't know at all. "We're going to the police," Rachel said. "Tomorrow. First thing. This is fraud. This is theft. This is identity theft. This is, God, I don't even know what else to call it. I know. And you're going to tell him about the tubectomy. You're going to let him know that all his sick little plans were for nothing." I thought about it. About the satisfaction I'd feel watching his face when he realized. About taking that power back from him. About the poetic justice of it all. "Yeah," I said. "I am." Rachel stayed with me that night. We went back to my apartment. She slept on my couch. I was grateful not to be alone. Grateful to have someone there. Someone who believed me. Someone who didn't make excuses for Tyler. I filed a police report the next day. Took a long lunch from work. Went to the station with all my evidence. The pictures of the condoms. The notebook. The bank statements. The credit card statements. The fraud report from the credit card company. The officer who took my statement was a woman in her 40s. Detective Lisa Morrison. She had short gray hair and tired eyes. She listened to everything without interrupting. Took notes. Asked clarifying questions. When I finished, she looked at me with something like recognition in her eyes. "This happens more than you'd think," she said. "Reproductive coercion. Financial abuse. Most women don't report it. They're ashamed. They're scared. They think no one will believe them. Thank you for coming forward. What happens now? We'll investigate. We'll contact him. We'll see if we can build a case. I can't promise anything, but we'll do our best. The financial stuff is easier to prove. The reproductive coercion is harder. But with the pictures you have, the notebook, we've got a good start. How long will it take? Depends. Could be weeks. Could be months. These things take time, but I'll keep you updated. And Amber?" She looked at me seriously. "You did the right thing coming here. This isn't your fault. None of it. You understand that, right?" I nodded. I didn't entirely believe her. Part of me still felt like I should have seen it. Should have known. Should have been more careful. But I appreciated her saying it. I left the station feeling lighter somehow. Like I'd set something down that I'd been carrying. Like I'd taken a step towards something. Justice, maybe. Or closure. Or just the acknowledgement that what happened to me mattered. I called Tyler from the parking lot. He answered on the first ring. "Amber? Oh my God, Amber, I'm so glad you called. I've been trying to reach you for— I'm not pregnant," I cut him off. "I know you've been waiting to hear. I know you've been checking your phone every day, wondering when I was going to tell you the good news. But I'm not pregnant, Tyler, and I'm never going to be." "What are you talking about? I had a tubectomy 6 months ago, before you started poking holes in condoms. Before you started trying to baby trap me. My tubes are tied. I couldn't get pregnant even if I wanted to." Silence. Complete silence. I could hear him breathing. I imagined him sitting wherever he was, his face going pale, his mind racing, trying to process what I'd just said. "You're lying," he said finally. His voice was different, harder, angrier. "I'm not. I have the medical records. Every time you poked a hole in a condom, you were doing it for nothing. Every time you tracked my cycle, you were wasting your time. I was never going to give you what you wanted because I already made sure I couldn't. Why didn't you tell me?" His voice cracked. "Why would you keep something like that from me?" The audacity, the absolute audacity of that question. I laughed. A short, bitter sound. "Why didn't I tell you?" I repeated. "Why didn't you tell me you were tampering with our birth control? Why didn't you tell me you were stealing from our savings account? Why didn't you tell me you opened a credit card in my name and charged $8,000 to it? Why didn't you tell me you did the exact same thing to your ex-girlfriend? What? Who told you about Olivia? That's different. It wasn't different, Tyler. It's exactly the same. You have a pattern. You find women, you love bomb them, you pressure them about kids, and when they don't give you what you want, you try to force them. You tried to take away my choice. You tried to trap me. You stole from me. You violated me in every way possible. But you can't trap someone who's already free. Amber, please, let me explain. I don't want your explanation. I don't want your apologies. I don't want anything from you. I filed a police report for the reproductive coercion coercion. For the financial fraud. For the identity theft, they're investigating you. They'll be in touch. You did what? Amber, you can't. I hung up before he could finish. My hands were steady. My voice had been steady. I felt powerful in a way I hadn't felt in months. I felt like myself again. Tyler tried to call back. I declined. He sent texts. I blocked the number. He sent emails. I set up a filter to send them to spam. He tried to contact me through social media. I blocked him on everything. He was being erased from my life, slowly, methodically, the way he'd tried to erase my choices. The legal process took time. Weeks turned into months. Tyler hired a lawyer, a guy named Richard, something who wore expensive suits and had slicked back hair and tried to make me look like the bad guy. There were interviews, depositions. I had to tell my story over and over again, to police, to lawyers, to investigators. Each time I told it, it got a little easier, but it also got a little harder because each time I had to remember, I had to relive it. I had to sit across from strangers and explain how the man I loved had violated me. Detective Morrison was good though. She was thorough. She didn't give up. She found Olivia and Olivia agreed to give a statement. She found Brittany, the woman who dated Tyler between Olivia and me. Brittany came forward too. Brittany had gotten out before it went too far, but she remembered the pressure, the obsession, the boundary crossing. She remembered Tyler tracking her cycle even though she'd asked him not to. She remembered him forgetting to use condoms. She remembered feeling like she was being hunted. I broke up with him before he could do what he did to you and Olivia. Brittany told me over coffee one afternoon. We'd met at a cafe downtown. She was 27, blonde, pretty, looked younger than her age, but I knew something was off. I just couldn't put my finger on it. And then when Olivia reached out and told me what he'd done to you, it all made sense. A pattern, clear as day. 3 women, maybe more, all experiencing the same manipulation, the same pressure, the same violation. Detective Morrison dug into Tyler's finances too, found the withdrawals from our joint account, found the credit card he'd opened in my name, found evidence of similar financial abuse with Olivia. He'd taken money from her too. Different methods, but the same pattern. He's a predator, Detective Morrison told me during one of our meetings. Not in the traditional sense, but he targets women. He manipulates them. He takes what he wants without consent. That's predatory behavior. I'd never thought of Tyler that way. As a predator, but she was right. That's what he was. During this time, I moved. Got a new apartment. 1 bedroom, high floor, big windows overlooking a different part of the city. A place that was just mine. No shared memories, no ghosts. No lingering smell of his cologne or the echo of his footsteps. Rachel helped me move. So did some coworkers. We loaded boxes and furniture and the pieces of my life into a truck and drove them across town. Started over. The new apartment was smaller than the old one, but it was mine, every inch of it. I painted the bedroom a soft blue. Hung art that I liked. Bought a new couch. A new bed. New sheets that Tyler had never touched. I adopted a cat, a cranky orange tabby from the shelter down the street. He was 3 years old and missing part of his ear and didn't like other cats or dogs or most people. The shelter volunteer warned me he was difficult. Perfect, I said. I'll take him. I named him Detective, which Rachel thought was hilarious. You named your cat after the cop working your case? No, I named him Detective because he investigates everything. He's very thorough. Watch. I gestured to Detective, who was currently inspecting every corner of my new apartment. Sniffing, pawing, making sure everything met his standards. Detective and I became fast friends. He slept on my bed, sat on my laptop when I was trying to work, demanded food at 5 in the morning. He was annoying and perfect and exactly what I needed. I started therapy too. Found a therapist through my insurance. A woman named Dr. Helen Reeves, who specialized in trauma and abuse. She had an office in a quiet building with plants in the waiting room and soft lighting and comfortable chairs. Our first session, she asked me why I was there. My boyfriend tried to baby trap me, I said, and steal from me, and generally violate every boundary I had. I'm trying to figure out how to move forward. She nodded. Didn't look shocked. Didn't look surprised. Just nodded like she heard this kind of thing all the time. Maybe she did. We worked through the betrayal, the violation, the complicated grief of losing someone who never really existed. Dr. Reeves was good. She didn't try to rush me. She let me be angry. She let me be sad. She let me feel everything without judgment. You're grieving multiple losses, she told me one session. The loss of the relationship, the loss of the future you thought you'd have, the loss of your ability to trust, the loss of your sense of safety. That's a lot to process. I feel stupid, I admitted, for not seeing it, for not knowing. You're not stupid. He was good at hiding it. That's what manipulators do. They show you what you want to see until it's too late. It's not your fault you trusted him. I didn't entirely believe her, but I was working on it. Jennifer and I eventually reconciled. It took time. She reached out multiple times, left voicemails, sent texts, finally sent a long email explaining that she'd been wrong, that she'd been projecting her own choices onto me, that she'd been influenced by mom's expectations, that she was sorry. I agreed to meet her for coffee. We sat in a Starbucks on a Saturday morning. Her kids were with her husband. It was just us. I'm sorry, she said before I could even sit down. I was so wrong. What Tyler did was inexcusable, and I made it worse by making excuses for him. I was a terrible sister. I sat down, took a sip of my coffee, looked at her, really looked at her. She had dark circles under her eyes. Her hair needed a cut. She looked tired. Being a mom to 2 kids under 6 would do that. Why did you do it? I asked. Why did you make excuses for him? She was quiet for a moment, honestly, because I think part of me was jealous. You have this freedom I don't have. You can make choices I can't make. You can change your mind about your life and I'm locked in. And when Tyler was trying to trap you into the life I chose, part of me wanted you to be trapped too, so I wouldn't be alone in it. I wasn't expecting that level of honesty. That's really messed up. I know. I've been in therapy about it, about mom's expectations, about the choices I made, about whether I made them for me or for her. It's complicated. We talked for 3 hours about her life, about mine, about mom and her impossible standards, about the different paths we'd taken, about how we could support each other instead of competing. I love my kids, Jennifer said. I want to be clear about that. I love Emma and Luke more than anything. But some days I look at your life and I'm envious. And I'm sorry I let that envy hurt you. I'm sorry you feel trapped, I said. You don't have to be. You can make changes too. I know. I'm working on it. It meant something, that conversation. It meant we could be sisters again. Really sisters. Not just people who shared DNA and a childhood, but people who understood each other, who supported each other, who were honest with each other. Work got better too. The product launch was successful. The app worked. Customers liked it. We got good reviews. The company grew, and I got that promotion Kevin thought I was gunning for. Senior project manager. Better title. Better pay. More responsibility. I deserved it. I'd worked hard. I'd carried projects through to completion. I'd proven I was good at what I did. You've been invaluable these past few months, Kevin said when he offered me the promotion. I don't know what we would have done without you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I celebrated with Rachel and some coworkers. Drinks at a bar downtown. Nothing fancy. Just people I liked spending time with people I liked. It felt good. Normal. Like life was moving forward. Tyler's lawyer tried to get the charges reduced. Tried to argue that it was a domestic dispute, not a crime. Tried to paint me as vindictive, as a woman scorned, as someone who was exaggerating what happened. But Detective Morrison was relentless. She found evidence. She built a case. She made it clear that what Tyler did wasn't just wrong, it was illegal. He's not going to walk away from this, she told me during one of our check-ins. We have him on the financial stuff for sure. The reproductive coercion is harder to prosecute, but it's part of the record. It's part of his pattern. And if he ever does this again, it'll be there. The trial date was set, then postponed, then set again. Legal processes moved slowly, but they moved. Tyler ended up taking a plea deal. His lawyer advised him to, pleading guilty to fraud and theft. The reproductive coercion was noted in the record, but not prosecuted separately. It was enough. It had to be enough. He got probation, community service, a fine. Not enough in my opinion, but something more than nothing. More than he would have gotten if I'd stayed silent. The best part though? The part that really satisfied something deep in my chest? He had to pay back every cent he stole from me, with interest. $9,000 from the savings account, $8,000 from the credit card, plus fees, plus penalties, and he had to issue formal apologies to me, Olivia, and Brittany. Written apologies that became part of the court record. Public record. Anyone could access them. Anyone could see what he'd done. I didn't read mine. It arrived in the mail, a certified letter. Official looking. I threw it away without opening it. I didn't need his apology. I didn't need his remorse. I didn't need anything from him anymore. Olivia called me after she got hers. I read it, she said. It was garbage. All about how he's changed, how he's in therapy, how he understands what he did wrong now. Nothing about us. Nothing about how he hurt us. Just about him. Sounds about right. But you know what? I don't care. It's over. He can't hurt us anymore. We won. She was right. We did win. Maybe not in the big dramatic way you see in movies, but in the small, real way that actually mattered. We survived. We came forward. We told our stories, and we were believed. About a year after everything happened, I was at a coffee shop near my new apartment. It was a Saturday morning. I was reading and drinking an overpriced latte and enjoying the fact that I could do this, that I could spend my Saturday morning however I wanted, that my time was mine. That detective was at home probably knocking things off my counters, but I didn't care because he was my cat and I loved him. A woman approached my table. She was young, maybe mid-20s, dressed in jeans and a sweater. She looked nervous. Her hands were fidgeting with the strap of her purse. "Excuse me," she said. "Are you Amber?" I looked up. I didn't recognize her. "Yes, I'm Emily. Tyler and I have been dating for a few months. He gave me your name. Said I should talk to you if I wanted to know the truth about why you broke up." My blood went cold. My hand tightened on my coffee cup. "He's dating again?" "Yeah, we met online. He's been really great, but lately he's been talking a lot about kids, and I'm only 24, and I'm not ready, and he keeps pushing, and I wanted to know what happened between you two. He said you'd tell me if I asked." I gestured to the chair across from me. "Sit down." Emily sat. She looked scared, young, vulnerable. Everything Tyler looked for in a woman. I told her everything. Every single detail. The condoms, the notebook, the theft, the other women, the court case, the plea deal, everything. Her face went pale as I talked, then white. She put her hand over her mouth. "Oh my God, you need to leave him," I said. "Right now. Today. Don't give him a chance to explain. Don't let him talk you into staying. Just get out. He seemed so normal," Emily whispered. "So nice. He was romantic. He remembered little things about me. He made me feel special. How did I not see it? Because he's good at hiding it. Because he knows how to play the role." But Emily listened to me. "This is who he is. This is what he does. And if you stay, it will only get worse. But how do I know you're telling the truth? Maybe you're just bitter. Maybe you're trying to ruin his life." I pulled out my phone, showed her screenshots of the court documents. Public record. Anyone could access them. His plea deal, his conviction, his apologies to me, Olivia, and Brittany. "This is public record," I said. "You can verify all of this yourself. I'm not making it up. I'm not exaggerating. This is what he did. This is who he is." Emily looked at the screenshots, read them. Her hands were shaking. "I need to go," she said. "I need to think. Here." I grabbed a napkin and wrote my number on it. "Call me if you need anything. If you need help. If you need someone to remind you why you're leaving. Call me." She took the napkin, stuffed it in her purse, left the coffee shop without another word. I sat there for a while after she left, finished my coffee, thought about Tyler out there dating again, on, already moving on, already looking for his next victim. It made me sick, but I'd done what I could. I'd warned Emily. I'd given her information. The rest was up to her. She called me 2 days later. I did it. I left. He tried to stop me. He cried. He begged. He said he's changed, that he's in therapy, that what happened with you was a mistake. But I left. Good, I said. You did the right thing. He kept saying I was overreacting, that you poisoned me against him, that you were lying about everything. But I looked up the court records. You were telling the truth. All of it. I know it. Thank you. Thank you for warning me, for telling me the truth. You probably saved me from the same thing. You're welcome. And Emily, you're going to be okay. Better than okay. You're going to be free. I hope so. I know so. We talked for another hour. She told me about her relationship with Tyler, the red flags she'd ignored, the boundaries he'd crossed, the pressure she'd felt. It was all so familiar, all so predictable. Tyler had a type and a method. And if Emily hadn't talked to me, she would have been next. I gave Emily Olivia's number too, connected them, created a network of women who'd survived Tyler, who could support each other, who could warn others. It felt like something, like we were taking power back, like we were protecting each other in a way no one had protected us. It's been 2 years now since that Tuesday afternoon, since I stood in the bathroom doorway and watched Tyler poke holes in condoms. 2 years since my life imploded and rebuilt itself into something better. I'm 33 now. I have a career I love, senior project manager, leading teams, building products, making good money, respected by my colleagues, valued for my skills. I have an apartment I love, my space, my rules, my sanctuary, decorated exactly how I want it. No compromises, no negotiations. I have detective who tolerates me most of the time and occasionally shows affection by sitting on my laptop or knocking my water glass off the table. He's perfect. I have friends who support me. Rachel, who's been there through everything, who's seen me at my worst and still shows up, who makes me laugh even when I don't feel like laughing. I have a sister who understands me now. Jennifer and I talk regularly about our lives, about mom, about the different paths we've taken, about how we can support each other. We're closer now than we've been in years. I have a therapist who helps me. Dr. Reeves and I meet twice a month now instead of weekly. I'm doing better, processing things, moving forward, learning to trust again, learning to trust myself. And I have a body that's completely, entirely mine. The tubectomy was one of the best decisions I ever made. Not just because it protected me from Tyler's plans, but because it gave me control. It gave me certainty. It gave me the freedom to live my life on my own terms. I still don't want kids. That hasn't changed. That will never change. And now it's not even a discussion point. It's not something future partners can pressure me about. It's done. Decided. Final. I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet. Just casual coffee dates and dinners and getting to know people. It's scary. Trusting someone new, being vulnerable again. But I'm trying. I'm more careful now. More aware of red flags. More willing to walk away when something doesn't feel right. I trust my instincts in a way I didn't before. Sometimes people ask if I regret dating Tyler. If I regret wasting 3 years on someone who turned out to be a monster. But I don't see it that way. Those 3 years taught me things. About boundaries. About trusting my instincts. About the importance of protecting yourself even when you love someone. Especially when you love someone. I learned that love isn't enough. That someone can say they love you while actively trying to control you. While violating your autonomy. While stealing from you. While planning to trap you. I learned that real love respects your choices. Real love honors your boundaries. Real love doesn't require you to sacrifice your body or your future or yourself. I learned that I'm stronger than I thought. That I can survive betrayal. That I can rebuild. That I can be happy alone. That alone isn't lonely when you're free. Last month I ran into Tyler at the grocery store. First time I'd seen him in person since before the court case. I was in the produce section, trying to decide between regular and organic apples. He was by the bananas. He saw me and froze. I could have ignored him. I could have walked away. Probably should have, but I didn't. I walked right up to him with my cart. Amber, he said. Hi, Tyler. How are you? I'm good. Really good, actually. He nodded, looked down at his bananas, looked back up at me. I'm sorry for everything. I know I said it in the letter, but I need you to know I mean it. I was messed up. I'm in therapy now, working on myself, trying to be better. That's good, I said. And I meant it. Not for him. For whoever he might hurt in the future. For Emily and the next woman and the next. I hope you actually change. I saw Emily a few months ago, he said. She told me you warned her. That you told her everything. I did. Thank you for that. She deserved to know the truth. I studied his face. Tried to see if he really meant it, or if this was just another performance. Another mask. I couldn't tell. Maybe it didn't matter. I'm dating someone new, he said. It's early, but it's different this time. I'm being honest. About everything. About my past. About what I did. I'm trying to be better. Good luck with that, I said. I wasn't being sarcastic. Or maybe I was a little, but mostly I just felt nothing. No anger. No hurt. Nothing. He was just a person I used to know. A chapter that was closed. He nodded again. Looked like he wanted to say something else. Changed his mind. Are you seeing anyone? That's none of your business. Right, sorry. I hope you're happy. I really do. I am, I said. Happier than I ever was with you. It was true. Every word of it. I was happier, freer, more myself than I'd been in years. I walked away. Left him standing there in the produce section with his bananas. I finished my shopping. Bought the organic apples. Drove home to my apartment. Fed detective. Made dinner. A stir fry with too much garlic because I could. Watched a movie. Some romantic comedy that detective ignored while he groomed himself on the other end of the couch. Went to bed. A perfectly ordinary Saturday. A perfectly free Saturday. A perfectly mine Saturday. And that night, before I fell asleep, I thought about that Tuesday afternoon 2 years ago. About standing in the bathroom doorway day watching Tyler with that needle, about the horror and betrayal and violation I felt in that moment. But I also thought about the secret I'd been carrying, about the tubectomy I'd gotten 6 months earlier, about the choice I'd made to take control of my own body, about the freedom that choice had given me. Tyler had tried to trap me. He'd plotted and planned and manipulated. He'd violated every boundary. He'd stolen my money and my trust, and nearly stolen my future. But he couldn't trap someone who'd already set herself free. And that was the thing he never understood. The thing he still probably doesn't understand. You can't control someone who refuses to be controlled. You can't trap someone who's already found the door. I found the door 6 months before I even knew I needed to. Before I knew there was a trap. Before I knew there was danger. Some part of me knew. Some instinct. Some deep primal understanding that my body was mine and I needed to protect it. So I did. I protected myself. I saved myself. And in the end, his plan fell apart because of a decision I made when I still thought he loved me. The irony is almost poetic. The justice is perfectly served. He tried to baby trap me and all he got was arrested, fined, and left alone with the knowledge that every single hole he poked was meaningless. Every calculation he made was worthless. Every manipulation he attempted failed before it began. I think about that sometimes and I smile. Not because I'm cruel, not because I take joy in his suffering, but because I'm proud of myself. Proud of past Amber who made that choice, who listened to her gut, who took control. Proud of present Amber who survived, who came forward, who warned other women, who rebuilt. Proud of future Amber who will keep choosing herself, keep protecting herself, keep being free. That's the real ending. Not revenge, not punishment, not some dramatic confrontation or satisfying takedown. Just me living my life, making my choices, being free. Tyler was a chapter in my story, an important one, a painful one, a chapter that taught me things about myself and about the world. But just a chapter. The story keeps going, and I'm the one writing it now. Every word, every page, every choice. I decide what happens next. I decide where I go. I decide who I let into my life and who I keep out. I decide what my future looks like. I decide everything, and that's the most beautiful justice of all. Not that Tyler got punished, not that he faced consequences, but that I got free, that I took my power back, that I chose myself. Every day I wake up and I get to choose myself again. And again, and again. That's freedom. That's victory. That's everything.